Hi, I'm Spencer. Nice to meet you guys. I broke my fingers.
I was also thinking that we could just
Stance Nation.
stance.
Woohoo. That's how my car is too. I didn't know your car was a single hump.
You didn't?
Nope.
Yeah, I've never had that.
Just found out right now it's a single hump.
And then
Turn all the way. Keep going, keep going. Right there. Yeah. What's up YouTube? My name is Spencer Berke. Welcome back to a new video. Today we're doing a feature film on this beautiful 3 Series. This actually belongs to a good friend of mine, Parker. He has a very clean build that we're gonna show you guys right now. So sit back and enjoy.
right there. We're gonna kick that out of here. Oh, my name is Parker Rep, and this is my BMW 335i. It's a 2008, no iDrive, 6-speed manual, full bolt-on.
When you were looking for this car, what were the main things that you were looking for?
I didn't really have any color in mind. It was kind of just whatever fit my budget, which was pretty low, but I definitely wanted 6-speed manual. I couldn't deal with automatic. I wanted a 335 IS, but they go for like at least 5 or 10,000 more than the regular 335s.
And what was your budget for this car?
I was looking at cars that were like 14, so I was like kind of around the 12 range, willing to spend. And then I paid just over $9,000 for this. I got a really good deal on it, and it had 66,000 miles when I first got it.
So when you were looking for these cars, you didn't have too much in mind, you just wanted to have the platform?
Yeah, it was mainly just the N54 engine, because I read up a lot about it and how much power it can handle, how easily tune these cars and add parts onto them. Really appealing for me, because I had a Civic beforehand where there wasn't much to do to it, and I wasn't proud of that. So yeah, this is something that I was like proud of, and it's my very first build. I'm really proud of it, but I kind of have gotten over it recently. I'm at the point where I could put turbos on it and upgrade the fuel system, but then you just get a ton of other headaches.
So for this car, what have you done so far?
So there's a lot of stuff. Obviously the cosmetic stuff, Apex wheels with Federal tires.
How do you like the tires on this?
They're really nice. I mean, the worst part about them is the noise. They sound like a truck tire. The grip is insane, and when you put them up to like 40 PSI, I tried that the other week, they just, like, the feedback is perfect through the steering. They're just really sticky, but I've heard that if you take them on a track day, they do kind of get greasy, but in the canyons, it's perfect.
What color is this too?
This is space gray metallic.
Okay, and then what suspension are you on?
SolarWorks S1 coilovers, which the SolarWorks guys are ex-KW employees, so basically these coilovers are very similar to the KW variant ones, which are great coilovers, but they're non-adjustable, only height adjustable. So the next build I'm going to be getting something that has like dampening adjustments and camber plates.
These are aftermarket headlights, right?
Yeah, so these were done by JPEG Built. My buddy John, he started a company recently where he does a lot of like installs and maintenance, because he's worked at a lot of the shops that I've gone to.
John did the rod bearings on my E90.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's worked on all of our cars. Pretty much blacked out the housings, and then he installed LED rings. CSF intercooler, which is their race version, which is really nice. They say it handles up to 1,000 wheel horsepower, which is crazy, which like no one really makes that. And then the F80 style grills from Mashimaro, the Mashimaro air intake scoops. That pretty much does it for the front end. Mashimaro carbon fiber mirror caps.
What exhaust do you have on this car?
Because it's full bolt-on, I have the catless downpipes from VRSF, but I've also added a BMW Performance exhaust, and it is a genuine one. A lot of people do the Performance exhaust mod, which is basically where you cut open the stock mufflers, very similar to the M3s, where people do the kind of OEM mod on them. But this is a genuine one. I paid a lot of money for it, and it took me months to find. And I get at least 5 DMs every single week saying, hey, can I buy that? Hey, can I buy that? Yeah, so it sounds really good. You'll hear clips later on.
What wing is this?
This is from Mashimaro. It's the Performance V2 wing.
Add some nice accents to the back end.
Yeah, definitely. I still wish I did the M-Tech rear bumper with the diffuser, but I never got to that. Kind of focused more on mechanical stuff and making sure it ran perfectly.
And then you have the extended studs too from Motorsport Hardware?
It's a 78mm kit with the, I think they're the conical nuts. And then I have Brakenetic, I think they're the Premium RS rotors. And then I have Hawk pads in the front and then Akebona ceramic pads in the rear. So a little bit upgrade on the brakes. Nothing compared to like a BBK, but it's still pretty nice. Was
there a noticeable difference when you put on the new brake setup?
Yeah, there was more bite, especially from the Hawk pads in the front. A lot of people go for the drilled and slotted.
How about the interior? What do you have done to it?
I've kept it pretty basic. I've done a Mashimaro Performance steering wheel. It's full Alcantara with a red stripe in the center and then white stitching. And then I've also done the BMW Performance shift knob with the Alcantara shift boot, a red start button, and then I painted the surround on the start button. That pretty much does it for the interior. I've kept it pretty simple, kind of just like a driver's car with no iDrive and manual.
The main thing that people want to know is the power. Can we see the engine?
Yeah.
So the N54 is like a modern 2JZ, right?
People call it that.
Because you can throw a lot of power at it, and isn't it essentially the internals were kind of like overbuilt?
Yeah, so I forget the exact specifics on it, but basically block is really strong. There's certain components on the engine that are forged because pretty much this was like BMW's first production turbo car, so they overbuilt it just to be safe. But the thing that sucks about these is everything around it breaks. Water pump, fuel pumps. They use a lot of plastic, like the water pump is plastic for some reason. Yeah. There's like an electronic dipstick, which obviously I think you have that in your car too. I think it was just implemented in this generation of cars.
So this was kind of like early development for their turbo cars.
This was like a lot of new technology for BMW. And then they learned a lot with the N55 engine and then the S55. And that's why the S55 is so reliable, because they had pretty much testing with these twin turbo inline sixes. This one was definitely like, it was overbuilt, but there's a lot of components that are bad about it.
And what do you have done to your car with as far as the performance goes?
People call it full bolt-on, so that's intakes, catless downpipes, charge pipe with tile blow-off valve, basically an MHD Stage 2 Plus tune. So that pretty much makes it full bolt-on. Some people consider full bolt-on with inlets and outlets, but I still haven't done those. But it should be making around 400 horsepower. So pretty significant over the 300 stock.
If you had to assume on how much you've spent on maintenance and how much you've spent on performance,
I'd say between $8,000 and $10,000. Obviously I've worked with a lot of companies. I've gotten products very discounted or free. So, but I still factor that into the price. So yeah, definitely around 10 grand. Just because I've done things like the oil pan gasket and the belts and pulleys, coolant hoses, stuff like that. And when you go through a shop with that, the labor is very expensive. I've done stuff like I upgraded the clutch to the 335 IS clutch, which basically bites harder. It's the same material as the standard clutch, but it bites harder. When I installed MHD Stage 2, which makes less power than the Stage 2 Plus, the clutch started slipping. In a higher gear, like fourth gear, I'd floor it and the revs would just go. So now this clutch is perfect. That was probably because that clutch was worn out. At the same time, I also upgraded to a M Factory single mass flywheel. So you'll hear it kind of chatters a little. Stock ones are dual mass and it gets rid of the vibration.
For people out there that want to buy a car like this, I've noticed that with our podcast that we do and our social media presence, we both get DMs about my M3, your car, asking questions. If someone in your situation where, you know, they're 18 to 23 and they don't have a ton of money to mod these cars, from my perspective, doing maintenance first is the biggest thing.
Definitely.
What is the main things that you want to do with these cars if you're looking to purchase one, and what should you expect to pay for stuff like that?
Yeah, so I've actually made a couple of videos on maintenance and stuff on my channel. So if you want like an extensive list, you can check that out. A lot of the oil gaskets on these go bad, which I've pretty much placed all of them, like valve cover gasket, oil pan gasket, oil filter housing gasket, rear main seal, stuff like that. That all usually goes bad. You should expect to do the clutch if you upgrade with a tune or even going turbos.
So if you're looking to put more power, you're going to want to look at a clutch too.
Yeah, okay. And basically other things like the high pressure fuel pump can fail. Turbos will eventually fail, especially since most of these are around 100,000 miles or
And this
more.
is a twin turbo engine, right?
Twin turbo, yeah. So either you can, there's options to go upgraded twin turbos, or you could go single turbo, which a lot of people do, but then it kind of gets rid of all the torque. I've made quite a few videos, pretty much of all the mods and maintenance that I've done. For anyone looking to get into a 335, anything with the M54 engine, that might be a good video to watch and kind of learn a little bit more about these cars. I get DMs all the time saying, hey, can I run this tune without inlets or just very specific questions, which I don't mind answering. N54 builds, I made that page, and it's basically we just feature a variety of N54 powered cars. My personal Instagram is Parker Rep. It'll be on the screen.
Put it right. I'll put it right here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I post a lot on this car, and then you'll see a lot from my next build as well.
I'm excited.
So
well,
definitely check it out.
Thank you for sharing this build.
Yeah.
Beautiful car.
Thanks.
I remember the day that you picked it up and drove it to the office.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I was so excited for you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, of course.
The people above us are probably like, what the hell? Yeah, dude, my eardrum.
We don't need traction, huh?
No traction.
It's hot as hell anyways.
Just me on the side of the freeway. Yeah. Oh, it's hot, dude. It's so hot in here. Go over one lane. Down here in Newport Beach, just drove by on PCH and we saw this British racing green Pista with yellow stripes. Dude, this color.
Dude, I like the 488 pasta.
The pasta looks pretty good.
I mean, I would eat this for sure.
We were driving down PCH and I saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was like, oh, it's British racing green. Wow, what a spec, bro.
That's nice. With the carbon like shields. That's really
So
nice.
sick.
The rears are the exact same size.
There's SVJ. Dang, it's a great spec too. Matte white. What a spec, dude. What a beautiful day in California. 85 today. Parker and I have matching headlights from JPEG. I have JPEG built on mine too, but Parker's posted an Instagram picture.
I put 488 pasta.
488 pasta's posted.
Racing green.
All right, let's do this.